is what I wanted to highlight.
Thank you very much, General. General, let me for a moment hide the document that you've just mentioned right at the tail end about the rest of the documents that you say you've given fairly or recently. I did not get a sense, not from you, not from Ms. Mafisa, until now, that you were not able meaningfully and effectively to participate in the proceedings of the commission. It was only yesterday that for the first time when you showed us the blank or redacted texts that one got a sense that you were suggesting some unfairness. But before that, there was not a hint whatsoever that you were not able meaningfully and effectively to participate in the proceedings. Did I get a wrong sense there, Ms. Mafisa?
I will gently remind the chairperson and the commissioners that regarding one of the occasions relates to the video that was played a couple of days ago of the alleged internal meeting of the DPS. I stated, I rather objected that we did not get enough time to actually watch that video and to further consult with the client. And I did state that it unfairly as Major General Senona and also the legal team because we were unable to watch that evidence and to even put it, or rather address it within our statement. And I do think it was unfair. And just regarding some of the documents that we have received, whether it's when we arrive here at the commission, I definitely do think what Major General Senona is saying. The document that I personally received, I think it was on Tuesday, with my attorney as well, and I was quite upset by that chairperson because I feel as though as a legal representative, my attorneys as well, we were not given sufficient time to read these documents. And I don't think I can say anything better than what Major General Senona has already said, but the video also just evidences the inability for us as a legal team to properly prepare and to properly prepare Major General Senona.
Thank you, Ms. Mafisa. The General is quite correct in saying that I have emphasized that this commission wants to treat everybody appearing fairly. It's not its intention to prejudice anybody. I think actually use that word. And this is something I've expressed more than once previously. And I have expressed more than all this broadly and generally. I continue to say that. Now, regarding the video which you give as an example in responding to my question whether there have been any hints of prejudice, I will agree that it was indeed and would have been prejudicial to General Senona to be questioned in connection with that video without him having had sufficient time to consider it, and indeed without his legal representatives having considered it and consulted with him about it. But in that regard, the reality is that that video was given to the general and to the general's legal representatives overnight, for them to consider it overnight. And the following morning, I did not, and overnight, I did not get to hear that there were still complaints of prejudice in that regard. Yes, you do indicate your annoyance at getting other documents. I think you mentioned even the 26th. But that takes us back to the point I made earlier, which is, was the commission advised that there would be prejudice in respect of those? I'm not saying it was not, but I do not recall that it was. If it was, the probability is that the commission would have reacted in a similar manner as it did with the video, which is in respect of whatever documents you felt the general would be prejudiced. It being the commission, it would probably have reacted in a similar manner. But as I say, I emphasize that I may well be making a mistake in saying that you or the general did not alert us to prejudice, potential or possible prejudice with regard to other material other than the video. I perhaps before you respond, because I saw your instructing attorney whispering, and you may want to respond. Perhaps before you do that, let me just invite comment from Ms. Hassan.
Thank you, Chair. There's quite a lot that's been said. And, you know, the objection was raised yesterday about documents that were apparently not provided, like the annexures, which is just incorrect. All of those documents had been provided by 26 November at the request of the witness's legal representatives. What the witness and his legal representatives failed to tell the Commission is how delayed they were in providing the Commission with their statement to enable us to finalize our preparation for the hearing. And they received numerous instances of correspondence from us. At one point, in fact, having to warn them that they were at risk at committing an offense under the Commissions Act for failing to comply with the deadline. So it's true that there were certain documents that only arrived, that we were only able to provide to them over the weekend before coming here and early this week. But no objection was raised in respect of those documents. And those documents are documents that are actually within the witness's possession. It's not documents he's never seen before. So it's not a surprise document that, when I say in his possession, I mean documents that are his documents in another context, which we will obviously get to when we go through evidence here. So, but the problem was never raised. For the first time yesterday, this complaint was raised. And I think it's raised belatedly. I think it is derailing us. We have limited time, and unless there's an issue that needs to be resolved, which I don't understand there to be, I would suggest that we move forward. All of the documentation that the witness needs, he has. Sorry, the last thing is receiving the statement late really did prejudice this team. There's a lot of information to gather in order to present and coordinate and collate evidence to present before the Commission in these hearings.
So are you saying that the lateness of providing the general with the documents was as a result of the lateness of his statement?
We certainly needed to see the statement in order to know where we were going to go ultimately in our questioning. We couldn't know that until we saw the statement. So absolutely, yes, it did.
You just make me understand this. If you have the documents and you know or possibly know that you are going to be using them, is there anything that stops the evidence leaders from finishing the other side with the documents?
No, Chair. We couldn't know what avenues we needed to investigate further until we received the statement. So documents, I received possession of documents through my own inquiries late, and only after the statement had been provided.
Any further submissions, Ms. Hassim?
No further submissions.
Thank you. Ms. Mafisa?
Maybe I must first start with not our first appearance, but our second appearance on the 26th of January. I'm a little bit tired, Chairperson. But on the 27th of January, we did communicate to the evidence leader. I specifically communicated to the evidence leader in person that the documents that we received on that particular day it was perhaps maybe unfair to give the legal team those documents that belatedly on Tuesday. I did not have enough time to read through the documents. My attorney did not have time to read through those documents, and Major General Senona. So I would like to make it quite clear that this was communicated in person to the evidence leader when we received those documents. Then regarding my learned senior's argument that all of the documents had been received by the 26th of November, 2025, I dispute that.
I'm not sure that Ms. Hassim said that.
Perhaps, okay. If Ms. Hassim
I think what has been said, even including late last year, is that at some point the general, obviously through his legal representatives, communicated to the commission that he had now received everything he wanted. That is what I remember. Not that all the documents, including those that were received only on the 26th, had been given to the general last year already. I did not understand Ms. Hassim to say so.
Thank you, Chairperson. I will also address that particular issue. So I do think that I must make it quite clear all of the documentation that we actually received from the 26th of November, and then I will go after the 26th of November. I don't think it's necessary for us to do any of the documents predating that. But on the 26th of November, the only documents that we still required, Commissioners, is SCN 1 to SCN 7. So we duly received those. We were given a memory stick, and my attorney was able to send the rest of the legal team as well, SCN 1 to SCN 7. So there's no issue regarding that. However, yesterday evidence was led on the WhatsApp chats, unredacted WhatsApp chats. As of yesterday, we had not received the unredacted WhatsApp chats. We confirmed that we received SCN 1 to SCN 7, but the unredacted WhatsApp chats attached to some of those annexures, we did not actually receive them. And I think that's what Major General Senona was trying to communicate yesterday when he himself raised that particular objection.
When did you receive those for the first time? Because as the testimony was being given and as questions were being asked around those texts, I did not get an impression that you did not. Did you receive them?
Thank you, Chairperson. May I quickly just have a chat?
I'm asking this apropos your point that you did not have them in an unredacted form, yes. Sort of giving the impression that up to this point you still do not have them. No, so that's why I want to know what exactly you mean and at what point did you receive them?
Yes, no, my apologies if it actually came across as that. No, Chairperson. Perhaps maybe let me rephrase myself or just properly describe to the Chairperson the true facts. So we only received the unredacted WhatsApp chats. I think, please, I must be, perhaps maybe I should be open to correction here, but it was on Sunday in the evening. So we were in possession by the time that we came to the commission, but this is the issue. Yesterday, I think a question was asked, and again, Commissioners, please correct me if I'm wrong, why did Major General Senona not cover certain issues in the statement? And so I think even with these messages, had we received them prior to Sunday, because we submitted our statement on Thursday the 22nd of January, we would have been able to deal with them properly within the statement. So that's the only reason why I'm mentioning this issue of the unredacted messages. It did not give us an opportunity to deal with them correctly within the statement. So when Major General Senona was questioned on these things, unfortunately, it wasn't already placed within his statement. And I realized from the commissioners over the last 3 days that it is quite important to deal with certain things within the statement. And so these are my submissions to the commission, unless perhaps I must chat to my attorney. I might forget certain things, but I think that is it for me. Thank you, commissioners.
Sorry, Chair.
Oh, sorry, Chair. Are you done? Thank you. Thank you. I just forgot to mention one point just regarding the belated statement. I would like to apologize to the evidence leader and any prejudice that may have caused to the commission. I must state that on Friday, when we were finalizing the statement, I just now don't recall the dates, my apologies. But on Friday, the 16th of January, when we were supposed to submit the statement, we had our consultation with the client, just going through the statement. He then informed the legal team that there was another implication by Witness C. Witness C had stated certain things, and so unfortunately we did not want to submit that statement prior to us actually seeing what Witness C had said, just in case the commission actually leads evidence on what Witness C has stated in the statement. So we did address a letter to the Commission's attorneys on Friday, and I will accept that it was quite belatedly, and we do apologize for that. It was Friday sometime in the evening at about 6, after we had missed the deadline. We do accept that responsibility. We addressed a letter to the Commission saying that it seems as if there's another witness that may have implicated Major General Senona. We would like to receive a little bit of time to consider this. And I hope now I don't have my dates mixed up. I don't have the correspondence before me. But that's essentially what we were trying to do. We were trying to first, read the documents concerning Witness C. And I think then we also sent a letter to the Commission's attorneys requesting the transcripts and the relevant recording that Witness C had made mention of in the evidence, so that we can just consider all of that. It wasn't available online. I will say that the Commissioner's attorneys, they provided that to us very, very quickly, and they also assured us that Witness C's evidence would not actually be used in Major General Senona's leading of evidence or even in the probing. And so then we endeavored to, yes, and then that's when we submitted the statement. But I must definitely apologize for belatedly submitting that statement, because I do understand the prejudice that the evidence leader and the team will have in circumstances like that. But I hope I'm not going to be held to some sort of gunpoint just regarding the dates. Genuinely, I do not recall.
No, not just the dates. No.
It was just the gist, yes, that I would like to communicate to the commissioners. I don't think there's anything else from our side. Thank you.
There's a lot of detail there, which I think Ms. Hasimi is entitled to respond to.
So, Chair, the first thing is, yes, we were informed very late, and the request was for the recording. We responded immediately, and we provided the transcript of Witness C, even though we were not intending to rely on Witness C's evidence for the purposes of questioning this witness. We still provided the transcript. Despite that, Then the next thing that happened was that there was an undertaking that the statement would be provided to us by the 19th to 20th. That was the language, 19 to 20. We granted an indulgence to the witness and waited until the 20th. And on the 20th, there was no communication from the witnesses' attorneys as to why we still hadn't received the statement. And we had to make a further request. And this is particularly in light of the fact that there was nothing more, given that there was no information that was provided to the witness that required further work on the statement. It was just inexplicable. And no explanation until now, such that it is, was provided as to why it was so late. So I just want to clarify that. There was quite a lot of correspondence, and it was only on repeated pressing that we eventually received the signed statement on the Friday before the hearing. As far as the questioning yesterday that Ms. Mafisa says was unfair because it relied on information that had not been provided to the witness before the statement, that is factually incorrect. It's factually incorrect. I questioned the witness on an annexure to the WhatsApps. And the question was, why is it we are getting a response now on the issue we were engaging on when it wasn't in the statement? And the response is that that was not provided to the witness before the statement was due. And that's just incorrect. Those annexures, and Ms. Mafisa acknowledged it earlier when she said those annexures were provided on the 26th of November, annexures SEN1 to SEN7. That's what I was basing my questioning on. So it's just factually incorrect that there was any prejudice to the witness in my questioning. And if necessary, I will return to those questions today because the witness had those annexures in his possession well before 16 January.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, you wanted to. Yes,
thank you. That was also my issue because my recollection is that yesterday's objection was based on the SEN annexures. But we've now heard from Ms. Mafisa that in fact they were provided electronically in November last year already. But my other issue, Ms. Mafisa, is reading page 18 of the general statement. You'll see that there's footnote 13 and footnote 14. What the general is talking about there is the WhatsApp exchanges between himself and Mr. Matlala, leading to the meeting at the Pels on the 15th of April, 2025. So he did have those WhatsApps and he did read them in preparing his statement. Otherwise, he would not have referred to them and even have date stamps. I would understand if he said, I cannot deal with these WhatsApps because I have not received them, or the format in which I have received them is redacted, so I don't know what's in the WhatsApps. But looking at this statement, it creates the impression to me that he has seen the WhatsApps, he knows what is in the WhatsApps, and he can give evidence on that. I do not get the impression looking at footnote 13 and 14 that he does not know what is in those WhatsApps. I mean, he even gives date stamps and he says what they relate to, which means he must have seen them and he must know what they say.
And it's not just those. The statement as a whole is replete with references to the text exchanges between the two of them. But anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
But the specific ones he objected to was page 39 and 40. And that was the WhatsApps of 13 and 14 April 2025. Now, the way he refers to them in the statement gives me the impression that he must have seen them, and he must have date stamps, and he must know that those are exchanges between him and Mr. Matlala, and he must know what the discussion in those WhatsApps is. That's the impression I get looking at this footnote.
Thank you, Commissioner. May I please take you to the WhatsApp chats? I, unfortunately, now I'm not even working with the correct exhibit bundle. Thank you, Commissioner. I would like to take you to the WhatsApp chats, and I think it is so. It's the WhatsApp chats right above the times, the date 13 April 2025. The timestamp there is 16:32:07.
You're looking at page.
Sorry, my attorney will just get that for me, Chairperson. I don't have the page at the moment. Thank you, page 38. So all of the WhatsApp chats on page 38, they were in actual fact redacted. So I do agree, I definitely can confirm that the annexures SCN1 to SCN7, we did have them. But what we were referring to actually was not even the messages related to those annexures SCN1 to SCN7, but we were referring to the messages above that. So those messages above the timestamp of 13 April 2025 were redacted. So when we received these WhatsApp chats on the 9th of October via the Rule 3 notice, those messages were redacted. We only received the unredacted messages on Sunday. So my argument is simply this. We were unable to address those redacted WhatsApp messages within the statement. That is only what I was trying to say to the Commission.
That is the greetings, Ms. Mafisa. Good morning, Duna.
Chairperson, whether it's the greetings or not, I think then perhaps maybe the chairpersons may be missing a greater point, which is the point that we are trying to make here is that we have been fighting to get evidence. That is the point that we are trying to make. I think it would be, we would truly be missing the essence of the point if we just simply say, but this message is inconsequential, this is consequential, this is inconsequential. We have to look at the greater process. We've already accepted responsibility that we were at fault in submitting the statement belatedly. We 100% accept that responsibility. But I do think that it's important that even if the Commission's attorneys are making mistakes, we must bring this to the attention of the Commissioners. Thank you.
Chair,
Commissioner Baloyi.
before Commissioner Baloyi comes in, if I may.
All right.
Because it is important that we get the facts correct. And the WhatsApp messages were sent in October last year. What was redacted in those WhatsApp messages were the phone numbers. So at the top of each message, it has the actual number. And it has been the practice of the attorneys to redact that sort of private information, confidential information from documents that they send out. So it was only the phone numbers, 2 phone numbers, the phone number of General Senona and the phone number of Mr. Matlala. That is the only thing that was redacted from those documents. If there was a problem on the printing on the other side, and the formatting went askew, and therefore it blocked other messages or something. If that's the reason, if that's what happened, it's possible. We should have been informed. And we were never informed that that was a problem. But it's a problem that was... The thing that is redacted are the phone numbers, not the content of messages. The facts are very important.
Chairperson, I don't know if I can hand my page up as we received on the 9th of October. It is incorrect that it was merely the numbers that were redacted. I can hand this particular page up to the commissioners. We can also print it out as we received on the 9th of October, but I don't think I will take the argument further.
Even if that were true.
Based on what Ms. Hassim has just said, I don't think there's a dispute there, because Ms. Hassim says the content of the texts was not redacted, but that maybe something may have gone wrong electronically when your side printed the documents, but that the content of the texts. We saw what the general gave us yesterday. It was blank and the text was not there. So we accept that. So there's no dispute there. So the question is, if the attorneys sent something that actually had the content of the texts, what went wrong, where and how, that would be the issue. Yeah. But the point Ms. Hassim is making is, once your side got those blank texts, perhaps an issue should have been raised by your side. That's her point, not mine. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me once we have resolved, and this is both to Ms. Hassim, Ms. Mafisa, and the General, that once we resolved what brought us here, which is annexures SEN 3, SEN 4, and 5, once we resolved that, in fact, these were already given last year, it is still a fair question, because I understand, Ms. Mafisa, to accept that's what happened. You got them last year. It is therefore still, it is a fair question to ask the General, why did you not deal with these in this statement? Because as you would recall, that's where the problem starts. It's you said he shouldn't be asked that question, and we asked Ms. Hassim to pend that question while we resolve this. It's clear from your admission that in fact that's a fair question to ask, because you got these last year, these annexures. And it's not clear to me why we are having this discussion now and wasting so much time on it. In my experience and expectation, two things should have happened. One, on day one, you should have recorded fully what your concerns are about the bundle of documents that you've been given, and then we deal with it so that we run with evidence and we know how to manage the process if indeed there are documents presented that were not given to the witness in good time. That's one. Two, my experience is when a witness sees something for the first time on the stand, they are quite entitled to say, can I please have time to look at this document, consider it fully before I'm required to answer the question. And that in many cases may well entail pending that question to allow the witness outside of the pressure of a sitting to look at a document and come back and properly answer. That's how you mitigate where documents have been given in the last minute. And I would expect that, for example, with a document you say the witness got this morning, that is, you know that is available to him. And if he says, I need time to look at it because I've not seen this document before, we deal with it. Not we're having a back and forth on day 3 of the witness's evidence, right in the middle of his evidence, about actually a document that he has seen, that he has had since October last year. I would urge that we continue, Chair, that we continue, and if any other documents come up, the historical matter is historical matter. We are here now. And if there are any other issues about documents that the General is seeing for the first time, it's for him to tell the chairperson that as he's being asked about documents, and then the chairperson will make rulings as we go ahead. Chair, that's my suggestion.
I actually made the same point. I said, with the video, once a complaint was made, we immediately said, you will be given time. So what Commissioner Baloyi says is something that we have actually done practically. We are not theorizing about it. So once a complaint was, we are seeing this video for the first time. This is going to prejudice us. We immediately said, Ms. Hassim, please avail the video to the other side. And we did not proceed about that video until the following day. So even with other documents, chats, or whatever else, if an issue was raised, we would have done the same. About the other documents, you say that you were quite annoyed and that you even voiced your annoyance to Ms. Hassim, but you never did so to us, and you have not said so. So there is no reason why we would not have done the same as we did with the video. So now it's very late, and for the first time we are being told of possible prejudice. And about documents, I'm being told have been, according to Ms. Hassim, have been with the witness for quite a while, or at least some of them. Just before we conclude, and my inclination is to do what Commissioner Baloyi has said, but before we conclude this, what would you like to see? What do you think would mitigate any prejudice, if there be?
Thank you, Chairperson. I do agree that we should continue. I do agree with that. Perhaps what I will also just say from our side, because we have taken up quite a lot of time from the Commission, perhaps maybe what I must say is we committed definitely that we had received the documentation on the 26th of November. Commissioners, I'll probably just simply put it in this way. We do not know the evidence that the Commission is in possession of. So when we specifically mentioned that we wanted the evidence of witness X and the corresponding statements and the transcripts, to our minds, that was what we would need in order for us to put the statement together. But for us to belatedly receive I think it's a little bit, now here comes the word unfair again, but I think it's a little bit unfair to be placed in a position where we tell the Commission, this is what we need, I think we've got everything. Our first letter on the 17th of October actually stated, all of the evidence that you have, please provide it to us. We've always said that. So we do not work at the Commission, we have no idea what is at the disposal of the Commission. So I think for me that is just the only thing that I will say or add to the submissions that I've already made. But I am perfectly okay, my attorney is also perfectly okay for us to proceed, Chairperson. I don't think we have to go on this back and forth anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mafisa. We will continue. If any issue arises, we will deal with it as and when. Yes, Ms. Hassim?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, may I proceed? Thank you. Okay. I'm going to begin then, since this is part of the discussion that we've started with this morning, with the question I was told to pend yesterday. And that is, General, why it is that you didn't in your statement. So let me just remind you what we were talking about. There were annexures to the statement, to the WhatsApp chats, including the docket of information pertaining to Mr. Nangi. And you said that you had not looked at that when you sent it to Mr. Matlala. And then there were other annexures, SEN 3, 4, and 5, which you said, although he sent it to you, you didn't open it and look at it at the time. You only saw the full contents for the first time when it was provided to you by the Commission. And my question to you was, and that's why you didn't do anything with it. That's why you didn't raise a concern. You now became aware that there was confidential information, that you ought not have shared the Nangi affidavit, for example, but you didn't address that in your statement. You only started to provide that as a reason under questioning yesterday. And my question to you yesterday, and I repeat it today, is why? Why didn't you address it in your statement? In your statement, you addressed the Nangi thing. You said you gave it to him to warn him. But that's all you said. Why?
Why didn't I do what? The question, can you repeat it, please, Commissioners?
Do you recall the evidence of yesterday?
Yes,
regarding his
Commissioners.
annexures?
Yes, Commissioners.
And you recall you said this is unfair because you hadn't seen it before, the annexures.
Which annexures? The SEN 3, SEN 4?
Yes.
I said, Commissioners, I've never opened these ones. I never read them. I happened to see the full contents when the information was provided by the Commission.
Yes, and I said, why, at that point, did you not, when you answered us on it, you said if you had seen it, these are the things you would have done, you see that this was a problem, these contents of these documents. Do you recall those answers yesterday?
Correctly, I recall that I said I would have written an information note to my supervisors to be able to deal with the matters.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my question to you was, why are you now saying that when you didn't give us that response in your statement? You didn't acknowledge in your statement that these are problematic annexures that you had.
I think when these annexures were opened, already my recollection, let me rephrase, Commissioners, I believe that you are saying why I didn't include it in my statement. That is the question that I must respond to. Am I right?
My question is, the answer you gave us yesterday was not anywhere in your statement. You didn't address the content of these annexures in your statement.
Correct, I didn't address the content of these annexures in my statement.
And then you said that the reason you didn't was because you didn't have it at the time you were preparing your statement. But we now know that's not true, because you did have it. Isn't that so?
These annexures were received through the lawyers. I can't recall the actual date. But I think when we look at it, they were redacted. There were information that was hidden on it. And one couldn't make a context of that. If my memory serves me well, I'm talking under correction. But I agree that I didn't talk about it fully in my affidavit. And that is what it is. I didn't talk about fully in my affidavit. Yes. I just indicated that. Now, you see, when you receive these things, you get questions, Commissioners, and the questions also, you have to respond to them. And then when you respond to them, in responding, some of the things when you respond, you recollect some of the information. It becomes back. And when it comes back, you end up saying those things that you are remembering that are the truth, nothing else but the truth. So eventually, when you write a statement, you will write about things that you remember. And as a human being, you will also be making some faults. That is why there are sometimes faults. We also make faults, and I believe you also make faults.
General, I think you are evading the question. You're not answering what I asked you at all. And in fact, now you're raising another problem. You're saying that those annexures were redacted. Is that what you're saying?
I said I talk under correction. I need to be corrected that certain information on those things when my attorneys that were redacted, I said I talk under correction. But I didn't include them in my affidavit. I agree.
My question is, why did you not? You had all of that information well before the due date of your written statement.
I don't have an answer to that because my affidavit, I wrote it. I said, people make mistakes. But if you force me to give you an answer, I don't have it. I made a mistake maybe because if you deemed it fit, I should have put it there. It's fine, but I made a mistake by not putting it. And it's not the only these messages that I didn't include in my affidavit. It's a lot of them in terms of these pages 38 until to 60, even others before that. So, commissioners, my affidavit, when I deal with it, when I deposit my affidavit, I was looking also at the subpoena. I wrote my affidavit in line with the subpoena, and then whatever information I might have omitted by mistake, it was not my intention to omit it. If I have recalled or recollected that I must include it, it should have been included. But I'm also a human being. I think we need to also bear in mind that I am not a perfect human being, unless I'm told there is somebody perfect. But me, I am not. I am subjected to make mistakes that are being made by human beings. I've already responded to these questions, commissioners.
Not to my satisfaction. What I wish to say to you, and what I put to you, is that you're not being completely open and truthful with the Commission, and that the reason you gave a different answer yesterday was not because you were not aware of the content of those annexures, because you were aware of it, as we know, but because you, under questioning, realized that what you had done was wrong and that you now had to take responsibility and answer for it. It was only upon the questioning and the probing that you were forced to answer. That's what I put to you.
Commissioners, with my responses and what I'm here to deliver or to testify upon, it doesn't matter if the advocate is not happy with my response, but I'm telling the truth to the best of my recollection here. I'm not trying to evade anything. I'm telling the truth to the best of my recollection.
And the Nangi affidavit was something that you were asked about specifically in the subpoena, isn't that so?
I believe so. I want to check where is my subpoena here. I'm trying to search for my subpoena, commissioners. I don't know where I put it so that I can just have a look and respond to the advocate.
Are you referring to the Regulation 10.6 notice, which sort of indicated what you were required to address? Or?
Correct, commissioners. Yeah, I'm looking for it. I don't know where's my files, some of my files here, the actual subpoena in order to respond, sorry, because the advocate is saying in that document, I was required to talk about the Nangi issue.
Yes, so, Chair, we're trying to find whether it's in the record in order to assist the witness. But I can read out the paragraph of the notice that's relevant. And the question in this, in relation to this Nangi affidavit was the following. What was the witness's purpose in sending a WhatsApp message to Mr. Matlala on 10 March 2025 at 21:03, attaching the complainant affidavit of Mr. Nangi? And then we attached it, and other contents of the docket in CAS number, and then we put in the CAS number. So that was the question.
I think I've highlighted the purpose, commissioners, yesterday.
Okay.
For the purpose of securing time, I did highlight it yesterday. If maybe the advocate was making note, the purpose I've highlighted it. I was asked several questions, vigorously so yesterday, regarding the purpose. And I think I have responded yesterday, commissioners. And I still remain with that.
You see, the problem with this is that you suggested that you didn't really know the details. You didn't know that where Mr. Nangi lived. You didn't know the details of the case. But once you were aware that this very serious alleged criminal was released, you felt you needed to warn Mr. Matlala. But the reality is that you did know about the details of the case because you had received a complaint in February last year by the DPP in KZN regarding your oversight of the case and deficiencies in your management of the investigation of that case. Isn't that so?
Commissioners, the issue, I've never received a complaint from the DPP in February 2025. I've never. And I want the commissioners to bear with me because I'm not going to get into details. I'm going to give just a straightforward answer and stop it there, and I'll give a reason to that. I'm going to plead with the commissioners. There was a complaint that was sent to the NDPP, by the NDPP, to the national head of the directorate. There was a case that was investigated in KwaZulu-Natal of kidnapping, extortion, and some other charges there, where these persons, Nangi and other persons, were arrested. The investigators at the ground level did their investigation, and in a process, certain things happen that I don't want to get into details. Eventually, the matter was set for bail application in January. The NPA withdrew the case. They gave reasons there. After that, it's then that there was a complaint by the NDPP to the national head. Processes were followed and everything. Commissioner, there is a DC that is currently on trial. I want to appeal to you and also say, with this saying and understanding that it's sub judice for me to come and talk about these things here of that nature. That complaint, it went through the national office, it went through its processes, and there is a DC and there is a hearing that is in progress. The last time I appeared here on the 26th, from here I attended the DC. It is continuing. So I appeal to you not to respond to these questions that are related to this.
And the disciplinary process against whom?
Myself and 4 others.
And is it a disciplinary so you say there was a complaint and I'm not asking you to discuss the detail of it. I respect that if it's a pending matter, you won't discuss it. But I think we just want to try and understand your evidence about this, what it is that you're saying to us. So you say there was a complaint against you and others relating to the Nangi matter. Is that what you're telling us?
In that complaint.
No, let's take it step by step. You can explain.
I want to clarify something before I answer. In the complaint, it talked about investigators, not necessarily my name.
Yes.
There was a complaint.
So there's a complaint against investigators who report to you relating to the Nangi matter.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, Commissioner.
You were then subjected, those investigators and you, that's what I want to understand, are then being subjected to a disciplinary process relating to that Nangi matter.
Correct.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Hassim.
Thank you, Commissioner. I don't propose to go into the merits and the details of the charges against General Senona. The charges are there for the record, and they are contained at Exhibit 61, page 614, the charges. It's just the fact of the charges that were relevant, and I accept that. Pardon me?
Page, Commissioners? 614.
I accept that we should, it's not even relevant, in fact, to the mandate of this commission for us to discuss the merits of the DC. But the important point is that, General, that you had been asked to respond in some detail
Come again, Commissioners. What is the question?
You had been asked to respond in some detail to the concerns that had been raised by the DPP in KZN. And I'll just take you to page 616, Exhibit 62.
Commissioners, can I say something?
Can I finish my question?
Before you ask a question, because I want to tell the Commissioners something about this document that you referred to. Commissioners, this document, we received it when we arrived here on the 27th. And for further to that, this document is part and parcel of the bundle of documents in my disciplinary hearing. I therefore request that I must not be asked questions about this because there is a hearing that is ongoing here. That is my plea.
Chair, I propose that I be permitted to ask my question. The question has got nothing to do with the disciplinary. It's merely about the fact of this document and what it's about. We will not be going into the details of the contents.
Let's just hear the question, General, and then we'll see whether you still object.
But Commissioners,
even
this
based,
is
yes. Let's just hear the question, just the question, General, and then, we can take it from there, or we will take it from there.
And General and Chair, by the way, this document is the witness's own document. It's a document that he compiled. It's not.
So it was supplied by him to the commission?
No, I mean, it's a document that he authored.
Okay.
It's an information note.
And 616, you said?
616, yes, Commissioner Khumalo. So the relevance of this is only the following, that you'll see at the end of the document it's dated 20 February 2025. And it's an information note prepared by General Senona in response to concerns that were raised by the DPP in KZN regarding the management of this Nangi case. I'll say no more about that. But the General was then required to look into it and provide a response, and he did so on the 20th of February 2025. Correct?
What is the question, Commissioners?
That you provided this information note on 20 February 2025.
It is the document I provided, but
Yes.
I didn't want to get into it.
Yes, and then on 10 March 2025 is when you send Mr. Matlala the attachment, the 220 pages of confidential information pertaining to Mr. Nangi. And what I want to suggest to you, General, is that your response that you were merely forwarding on information as a warning to him is not correct. That in fact you and Mr. Matlala were in conversation about Mr. Nangi and that document that you sent him in the context of the withdrawal of that complaint, trying to persuade him to withdraw the complaint against Mr. General Mkhwanazi. So that's what I'm putting to you, that it wasn't merely for his information and warning, but that in fact it was part of an ongoing engagement between you and Mr. Matlala.
Thank you, Commissioners. First thing first, the document is not a confidential document. As I've indicated yesterday, I read the affidavit and then I saw the addresses, I sent it. I still stand by my response yesterday. Commissioners, General Senona is not a suspect on the case that was opened by Mr. Nangi. General Senona is not a suspect. That one, maybe even if they go and ask Mr. Nangi or read all the affidavits there, General Senona is not listed as a suspect. I don't have a reason to go and ask another person to tell another person to withdraw a docket where I'm not even a suspect. Even if I was listed as a suspect, I wouldn't have informed or persuaded another person to withdraw a case docket. I'll go to court and defend myself and my innocence in court. Like I came here, I went to my legal team because I know I'm called a witness, but the people who came here, they implicated me in some sort of, when my understanding, I am a respondent because this is a commission. I'm called a witness, but I am a respondent to the allegations against me. So General Senona was never, ever listed as a suspect. So I don't see any reason. The inference that is drawn by the advocate, it is totally incorrect. Thank you, Commissioners.
I've had my response. I can move on from this. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, General. Let's go back to just want to get the date where we were. We had dealt with 13 April. That was page 39 of the WhatsApp chats. Can you turn to page 40 of the WhatsApp chats? And can you read the first message that Mr. Matlala sent to you on the 14th of April?
Maybe before you do that, Ms. Hassim, I know you've asked us to give you as much freedom to run your line of questions without interruption, but I think it might be more efficient and neater if I ask my question now. If you would just remind me that confidential SEN 345, where do we find the one that relates to the president? I just want to ask a question. I think it was in the 300 something.
I think it's 291.
I'm told it's
291.
291. General, this is a document that yesterday was discussed, or you were asked a question about. And now that we have resolved finally that you did get this SEN 4 last year, this attachment to that WhatsApp message with Mr. Matlala. Maybe let me then ask my question in the light, in fact, it is in the light of what you had said yesterday. In your evidence yesterday, you said you did not open this SEN 3. The 291, page 291 document. You said you had not opened that WhatsApp attachment when it came from Mr. Matlala.
SEN 4.
I'm told it's SEN 4. Yes. You said yesterday that you did not open it when it was given to you and you never opened it. And I'm not probing that any further. I think we had that discussion yesterday. But we now know from this morning exchange between the lawyers that in fact you were given this annexure last year already. So you had it and you would have seen what it is. And my question on the back of what you said yesterday is, when after you saw this, after it was now sent to you by the evidence leaders and you see what it is, did you prepare an information note in the way that you said you would have? You remember your evidence yesterday was, had you opened the attachment, you would have, because you see on the face of it that this is not information that should be exchanged or that should be in the hands of a private person. And if you had seen it, you would have it done. But now we know you saw it because it was given to you last year. Did you do anything about it?
Commissioner, I didn't prepare an information note. Reason being, I was and I still am under the impression that since it was presented before the commission and the team that were downloaded and got this information have submitted a report to my principals, and I believe they are continuing with investigations. I didn't want to write another thing because I wanted to leave the commission and its investigators to do their job independently. So,
thank you, General.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloy. So, page 40. You there? Can you just read the message that Mr. Matlala sends to you on the 14th of April?
Oh, Nduna, don't forget to ask our brother about that lady who's stirring problems.
And who's that lady who's stirring problems?
I did in my affidavit, commissioners, that allow me to utilize the word I assume that it may have been concerning the tender, Medicare tender, and his issues with Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. I assume it might be Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. Unfortunately, I do not have the best recollection regarding this message, but that is my assumption. However, I never assisted Mr. Matlala in the payment of his invoices or have ever shown questionable concern over his tender or payments.
That doesn't square up with these texts. We've already showed how you provided assistance on 15 April. We've already discussed, and we no need to go there again, your response on 13 May, advising and more than advising, urging him to take them on and to sue the SAPS in relation to his contract. Now I'm taking you to this particular text where he says, please don't forget to ask our brother about that lady who's stirring problems. Your response to him is not, what are you talking about? Your response to him is a thumbs up. You acquiesce. It suggests agreement that you will follow up Isn't that so?
These emojis, commissioners, each and every individual explain them differently. I think there are experts who will be able to assist us with the interpretation of emojis, but I will say noted. My understanding of this emoji is noted.
It's noted. So
Yes.
you knew what he was talking about, and you acknowledged it.
Remember,
You didn't say, for example, what are you talking about?
that's why I assumed, I assumed that the lady that is talking about it can be Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi.
Okay. And the reason you assumed that it was someone with that specific name is because you had already discussed it with him.
Remember when he asked me to go with him to meet the general, he was talking about the issue of the purchase orders.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the purchase orders, when I thought, before I can deposit my affidavit, and even that time, I realized that these issues of the purchase orders is a head office function. So there's no way that the provincial office will deal with these purchase orders.
And so, what's that got to do with? I'm not sure what you're saying. You're saying that you assumed that this lady was General Mkhwanazi
Correct.
because you had discussed it with him, because you were preparing for the meeting on 15 April.
At the 15th meeting of April, he asked me to accompany him, of which I agreed. I assumed that the lady might be Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. And
Yes, you're repeating yourself. Please answer this. I'm saying, how did you know it would be General Mkhwanazi if you hadn't discussed the issue of his contract with him prior to this?
remember, prior to this, regarding the contract, he told me he was having problems in payments, as I indicated before. And then the payment, when you look at the contract, it was a common cause to me when we were talking about the issue of the payment in terms of the contract, that this contract is related to Medicare, where police officials, when they are sick, they go to the sick base and the students. And then the only person who is dealing with this, it is the Divisional Commissioner, HR, and the Divisional Commissioner is Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. But that is why I assumed, but he never told me the lady who's having problem who she is, but I assumed, because I've got knowledge that this type of functions of this nature, they fall within that space.
But what the language he uses is important. He said that lady, which means it suggests that you've spoken about it before. That lady, you know who that lady is, who's stirring problems. And moreover, he doesn't say stirring problems on my contract. He just says stirring problems.
I gave you my answer as an assumption of which I don't like to do it, commissioners. I've indicated several times that I came here to tell the truth, nothing is the truth. Here I put it in my statement, and then I will stick to my statement. That is what I had assumed.
And who's our brother?
Yeah, this one is giving me a problem. I'm trying to establish. Even before I deposit my statement, I tried to look. By the way, our brother. You understand?
You don't remember who he's referring to. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you see, most he will talk about our brother, and then he doesn't put names. That is why I'm having a problem in the recollection of these names.
But again, the use of that language, don't forget. Don't forget means remember what we spoke about. Don't forget. So you had spoken about this before, and you may not remember now, maybe you do and you don't want to say who our brother is. But the fact that he refers to our brother suggests that he knew that you will know who he's talking about. Isn't that so?
I don't think so. He might have known, or he might have said, don't forget to ask our brother. I don't know who must I ask about the lady who's staring problems. Hence, I'm saying when he talked about this, because we were talking earlier about his challenges of not getting payment, and then he wanted me to accompany him to a meeting, so that was arranged by the former minister. So that is why I have assumed. So I think I've responded to the best of my recollection, commissioners, in relation to this question.
Okay. General, you assumed, let's proceed on the basis that you got this message and you assumed that he must be referring to General Mkhwanazi. Who did you assume the brother was that he's referring to in this? Because you must have completed that picture. You assumed it's Mkhwanazi, General Mkhwanazi that he's referring to. You must then have also made an assumption about the brother that you are being asked to speak to.
You are correct, Commissioner. I'm trying to assume as well, but it doesn't ring a bell to my recollection, Commissioner.
No, General. This WhatsApp message is on the 14th of April. You are going to meet, and you know at that point, you are going to meet General Mkhwanazi on the 15th. Today, it's less than a year since this WhatsApp message was sent to you. You got these documents last year already. So you've had ample opportunity. If you had forgotten, you've had ample opportunity to reflect on these communications, one. But two, you did make an assumption, you tell us. You say, I made an assumption that he's referring to General Mkhwanazi. You could not have made that assumption in a vacuum. You made that assumption because there was a context to it. Otherwise, I could easily ask you, why did you not assume he's referring to Ms. Patricia Mashale, for example? So there's a reason you assumed it's General Mkhwanazi that he's referring to. It has to be so. And I'm saying you must then have assumed something about the brother that he's referring to. You may have been wrong in your assumption, but you should be able to answer the question, who is the brother you assumed he's referring to?
I'm trying to do my recollection, Commissioners, as we are here, and I did before. It is an unfortunate situation. This type of things, sometimes it is important to engage with the person who sent it. Because at this stage, I am trying to recollect and talk about what Mr. Matlala has sent to me. Then it is unfortunate even when I received this document, still to date, I've never had contact with him directly or indirectly. But I'm trying my level best to try and think who the brother, who was he referring to? I'm trying to think to assist the commission.
General, can I say something? At this moment, you are not assisting the commission, and you're leaving me, I'm speaking for myself, you're leaving me with the impression that you are evasive. You choose not to answer questions that you fear might get you into trouble. Because there is no way somebody can say to you, don't forget. It's a reminder, which means you must have discussed this in the past. And when he reminds you, you don't say, what are you talking about? I'm confused. You give him a thumbs up as if to say, yes, I will not forget. So when you say you assume you can't remember, it gives me the impression that you either don't want to tell us or you are deliberately being evasive. This is not 15 years ago, as Advocate Commissioner Baloyi says. This is a few months ago, in the lead up to an important meeting with General Mkhwanazi.
Commissioners, I am not evasive. the issue that I'm afraid I'll be in trouble. I am already in trouble. I indicated before your good self here, Commissioners, that with these documents of the Commission, I am already being in trouble. So I can't fear to disclose what I recall and being afraid that there will be trouble. I am already in trouble. So at the end of the day, Commissioners, I see from time to time, if I can't recall something, I'm told I'm evasive, I'm told I'm lying, and I don't want to respond to these words that I'm told about, but I'm not a person who will come here and mislead the Commission. If I was lying, Commissioners, the chairperson of the Commissioner, when I arrived here, asked me one question. Are you affirming or are you taking an oath? I said I'm taking an oath because I don't want to lie. Please.
And General, to be fair to you, the reason I'm mentioning this to you is that I don't want to put things in a report that I did not give you the opportunity to respond to. The impression you are making to me, I must let you know about it and give you the opportunity to, respond to that. Because it would be unfair if I don't give you the opportunity and then you see in a report that you formed an impression of that nature to me. So that was the reason I was mentioning it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
General, can I, still on this, the brother that he's referring to, is it possible that he was referring to General Mkhwanazi?
It is not.
Why do you say it's not? Why are you so sure about that, if you have no recollection?
I don't think he will refer General Mkhwanazi as a brother. They according to me, they never knew each other. They never met before, according to me. He won't call him a brother.
Yes. Well, let me tell you why. Let me put to you why I think he was referring to General Mkhwanazi, and you knew that's what he's referring to. The WhatsApp message of General Mkhwanazi, Ms. Hassim, if you would remind me what page it is.
It's the annexures bundle, file 1. Annexures to the witness statement. And it's annexure S4.
Thank you. Thank you.
Page 89.
Yes, thank you. The reason I'm putting to you, and I'm doing this to try to get us through this very quickly, because I think we are getting nowhere with your responses. Your repeated on cue responses that I don't remember. In this WhatsApp message, General Mkhwanazi records, you have been talking to him. The opening paragraph is, you made arrangements that I meet this guy because, and then he carries on. I asked you, where do you know, how you spoke to him about Nangi. So you are talking according to General Mkhwanazi's WhatsApp message, you had a discussion with him, right? According to him, you had a discussion with him and requested that he meets with Mr. Matlala. That's what General Mkhwanazi says. Then this WhatsApp message where Mr. Matlala says to you, remember to speak to our brother, which comes a day before the meeting with General Mkhwanazi, and you assume he's referring to General Nkua, who incidentally is the person they're going to be discussing in the meeting the following day. You make that assumption, it is General Nkua he's referring to. And then you are blank to us about the brother that he's referring to, that you are supposed to speak to. Now, when I thread General Mkhwanazi's message that you asked him to meet with this gentleman, it says you are talking to General Mkhwanazi. That's what General Mkhwanazi tells us in that WhatsApp message. You are talking to General Mkhwanazi about this meeting. Mr. Matlala says to you, speak about the lady who's causing trouble. You say you assume, it's General Mkhwanazi. I want to put it higher than that and say, you know he's referring to General Mkhwanazi. It's not an assumption. And then the brother there, you know who that brother is. Otherwise, you would have not noted, you would not have simply noted this. You would have said, who is the brother you're talking about? If you didn't know, you knew. And the sequence of messages, including General Mkhwanazi, suggests that Mr. Matlala was asking you to speak, when you speak to General Mkhwanazi, speak to him about, mention General Mkhwanazi as well, that in fact they discussed the following day. So you know that's the sequence that happened. When you say, I don't remember, I made assumptions, it cannot be. And I think in nearly similar vein to to Commissioner Khumalo here, I think I would like you to take this commission much more seriously and give us proper answers. You are not assisting the commission. You say, I took the oath, I said I was going to tell the truth, and I'm trying my best to assist. You must accept sitting there that when you say, I don't remember, it's of no assistance to the commission at all. It isn't of any assistance. And maybe it's worth mentioning that you're actually here under subpoena. You didn't volunteer to come and assist us. You were subpoenaed to be here, and you're sitting there behaving, and I say this with utmost respect, you're sitting there behaving like someone who's just discharging the obligation of coming here under subpoena. You're not going to tell us anything. You do know what this was about. You simply choose not to tell us what you know this WhatsApp message was about. You can comment if you want, but that is my view as well. I share Commissioner Khumalo's view that you're not being of assistance to us. And it's a deliberate decision that you have made.
No comment, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Chair, it's 7 minutes past 11. I'm not sure what you would like to do.
Please continue. Let's adjourn at 30:30.
At 11:30. Thank you. On this theme that we've been dealing with of the assistance you provide to Mr. Matlala, after this exchange where he asks you, he reminds you, don't forget, ask that lady, you say, thumbs up. Then comes the meeting of 15 April, we know that. If you go to page 42, you'll see the message from Mr. Matlala to you. He says, this number will call you to make meeting arrangements, and then he gives you an 066 number. Who was that who called you to make arrangements?
Thank you, Commissioners. This number was sent to me by Mr. Matlala in order for me to be able to meet him where he was. When I called this number, the person who was talking on this number, it was Mr. Matlala.
So he called you from this number, which wasn't his usual number.
He sent me this number.
Yes.
And then, yes, this is not, it was
It's
not
his usual number.
Yeah.
This number called you, and he was the person on the other end of the line talking to you. Okay. Let's move on. You meet on 15 April. On 15 April, you learn more information about the alleged criminality, as we heard yesterday, because now you heard about the investigation of the alleged attempted murder. Do you remember?
I recall.
You recall? Okay, so we keep going. So what happens after this is interesting, because there are quite a number of phone calls between you and Mr. Matlala. And I'll just show it to you so that you see what I'm talking about. This is after 15 April. So on 16 April, if you start on page 43, on 16 April, there's a phone call from Mr. Matlala to you. Do you see that?
I see it.
On 17 April, you send him more of, I don't even know what you call these things. I mean, you might call them emojis, but there's some things. It's fine. Pictures. Then on 17 April, you'll see Mr. Matlala calls you again in the morning, at 8 in the morning. Do you see that?
Yes.
8:30, yes. And then on 17 April, same day, 8:27, you call Mr. Matlala.
Yes.
And then you call him again. Probably you didn't get him because the next phone call is 8:29, a couple of minutes later. Do you see that?
Yes.
And then he sends you a pin. Is that the location where you were to meet?
On the 17th of April,
Yes, he sends
with
you a
these
pin.
calls and this pin, no, we always met at Mainland Main, where we were not supposed to meet.
So why did he send you this location pin?
I'm going to be in trouble with the commissioners. I don't know why he sent it to me.
I'm saying he sent it to you because he was telling you where to meet.
No, our meeting place is the Mainland Main, next to his business office, is Mainland Main Hotel. We never met elsewhere other than there.
But you can't explain why he sends you a location pin.
Maybe he will have to come and talk about it, commissioners. Mina, I don't know why he sent me this thing.
Okay, so this is something you just don't recall.
Yes.
And then you continue 17 April, you make a call to him at 12, I think that's 19 minutes past 12 in the afternoon. You see that?
Yes.
He sends you a message, but he deletes it.
Yes.
Do you know what that message was?
No,
Do you know why he would have deleted it?
I don't know.
You send him a heart. That's followed immediately with a heart. And
A
then,
heart and amen.
yes. What did you mean by that?
A heart and amen.
Why did you send him this picture?
The heart and amen.
Yes, in response to
It
him.
is, I was not responding to his message that is deleted.
I see.
I was just talking to him.
I see.
Yes,
Okay.
commissioners.
And then you called him at 6:35, the same day that you sent him the picture.
Yes.
And then he calls you again that evening at 6:48.
Correct.
And then you call him again, same evening, 8:52.
I see
Yes?
that, commissioners.
And then 2 days later, he calls you, 19 April. See that?
Yes, commissioners.
And you call him 19 April at 10:26.
I see that.
And then on the 21st of April, he calls you again. Do you see that?
Yes, commissioners.
He called you, right?
Yes.
And then you called him on the 22nd of April
Correct.
at about quarter to 6 in the evening.
Correct.
And he returned your call, it seems, the same evening. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then on the 23rd of April, you send him another message. And then he calls you on the 23rd of April.
Correct.
So lots of conversations happen after the meeting of the 15th of April. What was all those conversations about?
As far as my recollection, in some of our conversation, he was happy that I accompanied him to the meeting. And over and above that, he was adamant that the order forms will come. And then I was saying, I accompanied you to the meeting. I'm also believe that your meeting has served you right. And other communications is a general stuff that are personal between me and him. We did talk about issues of how happy he was and how appreciative he was for me accompanying him to meet the general.
He was very appreciative in all of those phone conversations. You seem to now recall all of these conversations. You say mostly it was about personal stuff, and some of it was about the contract.
The meeting, not the contract.
You had no discussions about the contract?
The contract?
Yes, about the purchase order. There's one contract only that was the subject of this discussion on the 15th of April. And do you know what it is?
If they had discussions, and then I've indicated yesterday, commissioners, even in my statement, what I can recall, what was discussed there. And then I also strongly believe if that video clip is going to be played there, the recordings, those things will be there. And also, he did appreciate, as I'm saying, me accompanying him there. And then other stuff is that, because I'm not going to do this, commissioners, to try and remember things that I cannot remember. The ones that are coming, I'm remembering. I am going to say it. And then I see where the advocate is going to say, you remember other things, you don't want to remember other things. But I'm honest here to tell what I remember. What I can't, if I don't have an answer, I don't have it, Commissioner. So that is my response to you.
But you do agree that you had very many communications after 15 April?
I agree as it is stipulated here.
Yes. And they were very warm and friendly. Isn't that so?
Correct. I am a warm and friendly person. It is in my DNA. That's me.
You're very warm and friendly, even with people you know to be suspected criminals.
You know, commissioners, I'm pushed here to say there is this narrative of that I didn't want to say, but it seems I'm compelled to say it. You know, allegations sometimes is something. It is alleged. People sometimes will remain innocent until proven guilty. So over and over I'm told I'm conversing with an alleged criminal and so forth and so forth. But I didn't want to go there, but I'm pushed to say this. But I am a warm and friendly person. I was talking to him.
And in other words, you see, what you're saying now is contradicting what you said before, which is you were very concerned. And you were wary of him, and you were cautious, and you didn't trust his innocence, and you were pulling away from him, and you were going to cut off ties. This contradicts all of that, what you said yesterday, isn't that so?
Commissioners, what I've just said doesn't delete what I've said, that I was moving away gradually. My personality, I know I was told why you didn't cut it off like that. My personality, we differ with personalities. It doesn't mean when I move away gradually, I mustn't talk to people. I was talking to him, but moving away gradually, that was happening. I indicated that yesterday before the commissioners. The chairperson of the commissioners asked me vigorously about that and told me. Then I even said, I have learned today that somewhere, somehow, this is how one must deal with issues.
And your response that people are innocent until proven guilty, how do you explain that in your position as a senior police officer? How do you explain that answer? Let me finish. That you know that you are engaging with somebody against whom there are very serious allegations.
Ms. Hassim, contexts do, of course, differ, but I think this point has been made, hammered, and so on.
Perhaps I'll just say this, that General, I'll just put it to you then, that your response, that you're just engaging with somebody that in your position, because this is not just about, gradually withdrawing. I'm saying something more. I'm saying that you're not an ordinary citizen. I'm saying that you are a senior police officer and that there's a greater duty on you to be circumspect in who you engage with. You can comment.
Commissioners, I hear I'm being told about my position. I'm going to say this. In terms of my position, if they gave me a warrant of arrest and say, go arrest Mr. Matlala, I'll gladly do it without any difficulty. That is my response, Commissioners.
So that took us to the 23rd of April, all of those many phone calls. And then on the 24th of April, you send Mr. Matlala a screenshot of, is this your phone? Is this a photograph of your phone or a screenshot?
Yes.
Of your phone? And it's a screenshot of you communicating with General Khumalo.
Correct, Commissioners.
And the content of it is you saying, good morning, General. He responds, morning, General. You say, can I call? And then nothing more.
Correct, Commissioners.
So what was the purpose of sending this to Mr. Matlala?
I have indicated on Tuesday, Commissioners, that this message was sent by default. And then 15 minutes thereafter, I called him and then I told him I sent that message by you by mistake. It is not intended to you or for you. And then I even indicated that there was a third person that I was going to introduce to General Khumalo regarding issues that are related to his division. And I went and hand over that individual, third person, and I said, if General Khumalo can be called here, he will attest to what I'm saying. Because the person, the situation, the way it was, it was a pressing issue so that I can go and hand over this third person. And those things are intelligence things that are very, very classified. They normally even don't talk about them. The issues, the things that this third person was going to deliver there, as well as talking to General Khumalo.
Just for clarity, General, I'm not sure I follow. So who do you say you meant to send this screenshot to? Very briefly, please.
Is a source, is a third party, is a source who was having information that is related to division. Here in Pretoria.
Why would that source have wanted to see just good morning, General, can I call?
It's me who was doing this, Commissioner.
I'm saying if you meant to send this to a source, what interest would that source have had to this conversation? In this conversation.
He was pushing that when am I seeing the general, the source. And I did deliver the source.
Could it be that our brother from the previous text was referring to General Khumalo?
I said I don't remember. This one was sent by mistake. As you can see that here, I went to deliver a source.
No, I can't see that from this. And if it was sent by mistake, why didn't you just delete it?
I called him, Commissioners, and informed him this was a mistake.
Is it not that you called him in order to discuss your intended meeting with General Khumalo?
Commissioners, already the meeting with General who?
With General Dumisani Khumalo.
My intended meeting with General Khumalo,
Yes.
telling who?
Mr. Matlala.
No, it's got nothing to do with my meeting with General Khumalo.
So when you met with General Khumalo, because I think you did already say that you did have a meeting with him, did you discuss the problem of Mr. Matlala's problems with his contract? Did you ask for assistance?
No, I didn't ask for assistance.
Did you raise the contract at all?
I was talking to General Khumalo and introducing the source, that the source is talking about 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from there, I handed over the source, who also, I left the source with him, then I drove away.
So you are adamant that you never had a conversation with General Khumalo about Mr. Matlala's contract?
No.
Okay.
General, this message on its face, it communicates nothing of significance to a third party unless you are telling that third party, whether it's Mr. Matlala or somebody else, unless you're telling that third party that, look, I am talking to General Khumalo, right? I think your evidence now is that the third party you were sending this to was pressing you and you needed to show them that you are talking to General Khumalo. I think that's what you said.
I'm trying to say this, talking to General Khumalo commissioners to secure an appointment to take this person there in Erasmus Kloof.
Try and listen. I'm making a different point to you. Your evidence now is that you are going to introduce this source, I think you call them a source, to General Khumalo. That's what you were trying to arrange here. Okay. So that's all that this message does, is to alert somebody that I am talking to General Khumalo. That's all. And that you say that's all you were doing with it. And of course, it contains nothing other than you are in communication with General Khumalo. Now, if you sent this to Mr. Matlala by mistake, why was it necessary to call him and tell him it's by mistake? It has nothing to do with him, according to you. It contains no information. All it says is, good morning, General. Morning, General, can I call? If it has nothing to do with Mr. Matlala, it means absolutely nothing to him. Why did you consider it necessary to call him, as you tell us, to explain I sent it to you by mistake?
Because it was not intended for him, commissioners.
That's what you are telling us. It wasn't intended for him. And if I accept, for purpose of our discussion, that it wasn't intended for him, why was it necessary to call him and tell him that? Because he knows it has nothing to do with him. Why didn't you just let it be? I mean, in your many communications with him, he sends you things, you don't ask him, what is this about? You just let it be. Even important stuff, documents, you don't check with him, why are you sending me this? He says, speak to our brother about the lady. You don't ask him, what brother are you talking about? So your pattern on your evidence, your pattern of behavior in your exchanges with Mr. Matlala is, if stuff means nothing, you just don't it means nothing to you, you just let it be. So I'm asking you the same, that, well, now you've sent this to Mr. Matlala, why did you not just let it be? Why did you think it was important to call him and tell him, oh, I sent it by mistake? If we accept that's what you did, that's what your call was about.
I'm saying, commissioners, I told him that this was sent by mistake. It was not intended to him, because me, General Khumalo, we were supposed to meet to come and present this source, Commissioner.
Okay.
I don't have any other better answer than the one I'm giving to you,
okay.
Commissioner.
I accept that's your best answer.
It's 11:29.
I don't think you should start another point. It's 29 minutes past. Let's adjourn and come back at
Thank you,
quarter
Chair.
to 12.